Good evening. Sorry for the delay. Um, I went to look to add for a class one day, and I was going to take a math class at the school, and I was there on time, and one student came in 15 minutes later, and walks in and goes to sit down, and the teacher goes, "Hello, excuse me, can I help you?" "Oh, no, I'm fine." No, can I help you?" No, I'm fine, I'm enrolled." Says, "You're not enrolled, you're 15 minutes late, you're out the roll now." So and then the question was, "Where do you live?" "Well, I live in so city." No, where do you live?" "You live in Southern California, so traffic is always there." So even though I took 2 hours to get here, I was still made it barely, and I don't like doing that, but I know that I need to take a little bit of longer time next time. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity to allow me to share some of my experience. I think you already saw my. Let me come down because I'm nervous. I teach a class, plant propagation, nursery, and greenhouse management, and I don't have this many people. So I know you're nice. I know, but whew. Pardon? That's what Dave said? Okay. And I take it. That's why I'm here. And anyways, just to share what you just brought out, Dave, I'd like to just take 1 minute here to say thank you to Dave for all he did for a lot of people, especially for me. Okay, he was a great person. He was my mentor, a father figure, and he lost a son, and I gained a dad. And I lost my dad, and my dad's name was David, and he was David. So how coincidental, right? So we lost Dave 2 years ago. He passed away. So he said, "You want to try to do this class?" And this is where he left me. So I was honored to do that. So I do get nervous, and if my language starts to, I may speak different languages when I do that. So I may speak in French, Japanese, or something else. So just bear with me, and I'll come down a little bit. So I know I don't have a lot of time, so we're going to go rather quickly. But there's a lot of notes, we'll just go through real quickly. The first one is cuttings. When you're doing cuttings, basically what we're going to do is, in case we may need to use hormones, the hormones will help or make the plant root faster and fuller, more roots on the cutting itself. So in many cases, if you're doing it at home, would you need it? Most likely not. But if you want to expedite the process, accelerate the process, then yes, you're going to use a hormone, okay? So there's different types of cuttings. The definition of a cutting definition is a portion of the stem, the root, or leaf is cut from the parent plant. Okay, so we take a parent plant, we cut it, okay, take that cutting, and then we put it under the favorable conditions to generate. What are we missing if we take a cutting, what are we missing now? The roots, basically. Everything else is already there. So we want to generate roots. If we take a leaf cutting, we got to generate the stem and all that other stuff too, right? So we put it on those favorable conditions, as you see here. These are roots here, just placed in the soil, then covered up. If we were to leave the roots there exposed, what would happen to them? Dry it up, and then nothing would happen. So I'll try to slow down too. You see these other ones down here? They're sectioned off. Okay, so sometimes you can use a whole leaf, or in many cases you can break that leaf in pieces and use that to generate more plants. Okay, and propagate more plants. It's important. So one of the main things, how do I propagate a plant that looks exactly like this? Okay, how do I do that? Okay, through stem cuttings, and the stem cuttings is going to give me an identical plant to this here. If I grow the seed from this, and I germinate the seed, I may or may not get always the same. Okay, so but if I clone it, then I'm always going to get the same. Okay. So We can propagate a great deal of plants in a limited amount of space. So a lot of the nurserymen, nursery folks that have companies now that are big, they started usually as a hobby in their backyard, okay? And then all of a sudden, you don't have any more backyard. So what do? You go to your neighbor's house and say, can I borrow can you rent me your backyard? And so forth until the city comes and says, no, you need to have your business somewhere else, okay? So anyway, so you don't need that. And then you can just have, from one plant, you can generate thousands and thousands of plants. You don't need a whole bunch of them, okay? It's inexpensive, simple. You don't require master's, bachelor's degree, PhD degree. It doesn't require any of those, okay? If you have it, that's great, but it doesn't require it, okay? Simple. No problem of incompatibility because we're not doing grafting, okay? So we're just placing the cutting in a suitable environment, which is moisture, humidity, and then boom, generate the roots, okay? But how about if we graft, okay? If we have two plants, okay, we'll have one that has the base, which is called the rootstock, and the top is called the scion wood, and that's what's going to give you your fruit, your color, your flower, okay? In that case, we do need to make sure that they're compatible, okay? So eventually, when you do it right, so we're going to have cuttings. This is a stem cutting, okay? And this is what you want to have, mass roots like that, okay? That's what we're looking for. How did we achieve that? We used the rooting hormone, okay? Commercial growers, that's what they do, okay? Like I said, if you're doing it at home as a hobby, you may not need to, okay? But commercial growers do that. So you can see different ones. There's another stem cutting right here. As Dave would say, salsa and chips. When the phone rang in his class, he would say, if the phone rings in the class, you're going to have to bring salsa and chips for the whole class the next time, okay? And then he was set up with, the students set him up with his wife, and they told the wife, call him during class. He did not know. He was like me. Technology and we don't mix. We know how to turn it on and turn it off, and that's it. He didn't know how to put it on silent. And so the phone was ringing, and he tried to ignore it at first, and it was in his pocket, and he kept on talking, and he tried to ignore it and looked and looked. And eventually he said, oh, I think it is me. And everybody is like, salsa and chips, okay? So he had to bring salsa and chips for the class the next time, okay? Just kidding, okay? But anyways, just trying to share some of Dave's laughter there. So another here, we did a leaf cutting here, okay? And also here we did a leaf cutting, okay? And that's what you see the roots at the base now, okay? So the roots will emerge from the cambium layer, okay? Cambium layer is right below the bark, okay? If we don't expose that, many times roots will not initiate, will not come out. Or we take the bark, or we take the cambium layer away too. Okay, there's many things here. We're not going to go too far into it, but just what you want to do is that when you set your cutting into your soil, later on you're making inspections on it, and your base should start swelling up, okay? And after that swells up, then you have your first roots that come out of that. It's called root primordia, okay? And then we have callus. So some of them will callus because the natural thing of a plant is to heal, right? They have an injury, and the plant wants to heal that before anything, any pathogens wants to come in and start working on it and kill it, okay? So some plants callus heavily, and so you have to look for those plants. If the callus is too thick, the first roots may not be able to come out through that callus. Okay, so you have to keep an eye on that. So you can see leaf cuttings here. So we take either one leaf, okay, a whole leaf, or sections of a leaf, and make new plants. As you can see here on very top here, this is a African violet that we use the leaf, and then that leaf is going to produce anywhere from 12 to 15 plantlets on it. Okay, and so you go through and divide those, make new plants. Okay, wonderful. Then root cuttings too. You can do that. You get root cuttings out, and you dig out some roots. Let's say, for example, the fig tree. You dig the roots out, and then plant them. Okay, cut them in sections and put them in pots. Then you're going to have a new plant. Okay. So, here. So mainly we're dealing with hardwood cuttings, semi-hardwood cuttings, softwood cuttings, and herbaceous. So, softwood cuttings are the brand new growth of a plant. Okay, so if I want to stimulate softwood cuttings on a plant, what do? I take your shears and shave it. Okay, and all the new growth that's going to come off of that, that's going to be my softwood cuttings. Okay, then I take those and generate and make new plants. Semi-hardwood, they're a little bit longer, so they're usually going to be last season's growth. Okay, and they're just maturing. So the main thing to do is if you bend it, if you know what a semi-hardwood cutting is you should bend it and it should snap. Okay, so this one here is not there yet, but it's close enough. Okay, so when I do this, I shouldn't do this. Okay, so this is almost there. I could categorize this as a semi-hardwood and it still would work. Okay, but a lot of other cuttings, you do that, what I did, and they snap. Okay. Hardwood cuttings, if you think of deciduous plants, you guys know what a deciduous plant is? Okay, there's no leaves on it. So those are the types of cuttings that you would get. Okay. And then if you get those hardwood cuttings, you bundle them up and label them. So usually you harvest them in January or so, okay, February, bundle them up, and as soon as the spring comes out, okay, or the bud starts to swell up, then you start cutting them in sections, and you can directly put them into containers or in the field. Okay. So again, we're not going to go through this a lot. Time won't allow us to go through all this and be. So the other ones are narrow leaf evergreens, which are also considered hardwood cuttings. Okay, junipers and such plants. Then these are examples of some semi-hardwood cuttings here. Okay. They're in softwood, and the herbaceous. You guys know what a herbaceous plant is? Okay, so you take those. A lot of those don't need hormone. Okay, you just throw them up in the air, and they're already rooting by the time they landed on the ground. Okay. So taking cuttings. So now I determined what type of plant that I'm going to take cuttings from. Okay, then I researched it, and I said, and it says to use a certain type of hormone. Okay. So it may have said to use a number 2, a number 1, and the number indicates 1,000 parts per million. Okay, so number 1 is 1,000 parts per million. Okay, and once I determine that, then I'll start making my cuttings. Okay.
What are you using to research to tell you which one of the hormones to use it in?
You can use a book. There's a book. There's many books. If you're doing propagation, there'll be a glossary in the back and tells you the list of the awesome plants, and it will tell you what number to use. Okay.
Right.
But also too, if you look, you can research these before you buy it, and it tells you what plants to use it on.
Oh, all right.
Okay. What plants it does best for. Okay. So if you can think about it this way, the harder it is to get that cutting to root, take roots, the higher the number. Okay. So the lower the number, it's easy to root cuttings. Okay. And most plants do not need it, but the reason you want to do it is you want to accelerate the process. Okay. So as we're taking cuttings, we cut below the node and above the node. Okay. Because in the meantime, in between is going to take a little bit longer for the stem to heal. Okay, but by the node it has more carbohydrates and it's able to heal faster. Okay, you take the tips off because they transpire quickly. Okay, so as I'm taking my cutting, look at the plant how scared it is. Look, let's see. It's scared because I'm going to take cuttings from. Okay, so so this area, all this would be considered. We can consider something like this softwood cuttings. Okay. We can cut those, and we can start from here below, okay? Above the node, below the node. Look how much it's shaking. Okay, above the node, below the node. Above the node, below the node, okay? Then I take my cuttings here. Okay. Then I strip the lower leaves. Okay. Then if I have too many leaves up here, then I can strip those, or I can cut them in half, or I can take some of them off. I don't need all of these leaves, okay? Then they're uniform lengths, okay? And then I dip it into my rooting hormone, like that, knock off the excess, and use my sign that I knocked over that I didn't get caught. And then, you prep your soil, your media. Your media is 80% perlite, okay, and 20% peat that you can use, okay? And so that's well-drained soil. The peat will hold the water, but also the perlite has the capability of holding water. But it also is used for aeration, okay? It's porous as well. So,
is it a medium grade perlite?
yes. And usually you can, I saw it at the depot, I saw it at Orchard, in small bags that you can buy it, okay? You can buy it online, pretty much, if you want larger bags. And then we use the screed. The screed is to make an indentation in the soil so I can start putting it in my plants, okay? Many cases I've seen people where they just do this. They go through like that, and then they put it in, okay? So, but I like to use the screed because I teach the students that we need to use the screed. Then once we have the whole row filled, then we go back and press down on that soil like that, okay? Press firm to keep it from moving. Now, as I'm transporting this to the propagation house, I don't have the cuttings going back and forth, falling all over the place, okay? Okay, so leaves. How many leaves should I leave on the cutting? 3? Okay. I'm going to give you an example. Somebody tell me 0. 0. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm using the larger cutting. Okay, I'm going to do. This is. Would you guys know what plant this is? It's a rubber tree. It's a Ficus elastica decoria variegata. Okay. Okay. So. Yes, there you go. Now this. Look at all the sap, okay? So we're going to take all the leaves off because somebody said all the leaves off. Okay, now I do that, okay? Then I can place it in this flat, okay? I can fit a whole bunch of these in here, lots of these, this way, okay? But something's wrong here, okay? What's wrong here now? Photosynthesis. So what does the stem want to do now? It wants to use up its energy, and by the time it does that, it's going to lose all this energy that it has, and it's going to collapse. Okay? All right. So the other thing we could do.
Are you only differentiating that because it has a green stem?
Pardon?
Because it's herbaceous and has a green stem?
No, this is not a herbaceous. This is a woody. Herbaceous means non-woody, okay? Almost, sometimes they're a little woody, but many herbaceous plants are hollow in the center, okay, in the stems, okay? So this one, yes, so this one I know I'm not going to do it, but look at this, watch. Even though there's no root, there's no leaves, there's new growth coming on this one. Okay? And this actually, I used it from the other class, the Master Gardeners class that I went to Redlands a few weeks ago. Okay? And I just placed it in the greenhouse to see if it would root. Okay? If it would grow. How I know it's rooted is I pull on it. It's not rooted. It's good. But now you can see it's pushing to growth. There's no roots on it. Okay? So hopefully there'll be enough time and enough energy in the stem that it'll root. Okay? Okay. So, all right, so I know that that's not good. The next thing I want to do is, what I want to do is with the leaves, there's something I can do. Okay? So I'm going to take these guys out, demonstrate to you guys. So I can cut the leaves in half. Put it in my rooting media or rooting hormone. Take the excess off. Insert it in here. Okay, now I've rooted it. All right. Who has $5? You'll buy it for $5? Look at the leaves.
I would think so. I would think it would. You mean just to go in a nursery and
No, yeah. I rooted it. Now it's rooted, and I said, here, this is $5. Would you buy it?
I would trust you and probably buy it. Yeah.
You're like me, okay? But the answer I was looking for is no, I wouldn't pay you $5 for that. Look at that. It's cut. It's broken. Okay? What do people want to see? They want to see beauty right now. They don't want to wait. You and I know that these leaves will fall off, and eventually you're going to have a plant like this. Then you'll have a plant like this. Okay? It's the same. This is the same plant. See how fast it rooted? And then see, now you can play. Now I can say $50 and you'll pay. Okay? All right?
Well, not 50.
What? Yes. What? This was actually an air layered. Okay, have you guys seen this? Okay. Air layers are, you do this while the plant's still attached to the mother plant. So this is still attached to the trunk or main stem. And then you go in here and you cut the bark all the way around, okay, to expose the cambium. And actually you're taking the cambium away, but you're actually cutting the nutrient, the flow, okay, of carbohydrates. And plants are unique. As soon as a branch touches the ground on the under part where there's no light anymore, what happens? Root starts to happen. So we're simulating that here in the air. Okay? So we put sphagnum moss. I'm not sure if this one has roots, but ooh, look at that, it does have roots. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. And this one was done in the fall by our students. Okay? So now, the great thing about doing this versus in here, now when I root it here, when it's ready, I can cut this. Now I need more roots than that, but this is just to show you where the roots are going to be. It's going to be a whole bunch of roots there. So now I take it, cut it below, okay, and then I put it into my, don't need any rooting hormone anymore because it would have a lot of roots. And it would be ready now, say $5? You would take it, right? Yes. No, but in my class, I would go to somebody and say, no, that's not, I wouldn't cut, those leaves are bad. I don't want them. But, you know, when you go to the nursery, this is what people want. When, you know, I think that's how you guys started probably. You went to the nursery and you got beautiful things. Then eventually, as you learn, you know that if a plant is broken, it's got a broken branch, you can fix that. It'll come back, you know. But a lot of people don't have the time. They say, I want beauty now because it's either a gift or I'm going to use it in the landscape. Okay? So you want to expose that cambium as much as you can, so you can cut it in angle. So if I wanted to expose more cambium on here, I can cut it at a 45-degree angle. okay, like that, and that exposes a lot more area where roots will emerge from, okay? Cut the leaves in half. Now, if I didn't want to cut the leaves in half, I have the option of doing this other method. You can't take me anywhere. Look at what a mess I made. So, okay. So let's say, for instance, you do that. You say, "Oh, she gave me a hard time about the leaves, so I'm gonna do something different. I wanna win her buy, her $5. So I need to do something about that." Okay. Okay. There's two things. Okay. One of them is you're gonna make them smaller. So if you're putting them in a flat, this would be too big for a flat. Okay. This would be a larger container, like a 1 gallon, 2 gallon, and up. Okay. But let's say, for instance, I'm using it into a flat. I'm using it in a container like this, and I'm going to do a lot of cuttings in here. Okay. So the smaller they are, volume, the less leaves they have, excuse me, the more you're going to fit in here. Okay. The closer they are and their leaves are touching all that, you don't have good air movement in there, many leaves will fall that way. Okay. So going back to her $5. Okay. So now I put it in here. Always, very important, you guys know this, is label it. The date, what type of plant it is, what type of treatment did you do it that you put on here. Would you upset that day, when you cut it? No, what type of hormone did you use? Okay, and that way you're going to know the results at the end. You say, "Oh, well, you know what? I am going to use that rooting hormone. No, that didn't work. I'm going to use something else." Okay, so now I tie them in half, or tie the leaves like this with the rubber band, bundle them up. When the plant is rooted, how do I know the plant is rooted? I'm going to gently tug on the stem. I'm going to go do this. Okay, so when it's rooted, I do this, and look, it's rooted. Okay, look how fast it happened. Do you see that? So it rooted. So that's how I know it's rooted. Then I know I put in my notes, it rooted in 5 days, it rooted in 6 weeks, or whatever. Yes?
Do you only use the rooting for the liquid for soil, or can you use it in other media?
No, you can use it. They could also be the base. You could submerge it into the base. You could. We have the students do 6 different treatments. And one of them is liquid, where they dip it, and one of them is where they spray it to see if it makes any difference. Okay?
But could you put it like for water, like for example, like basil?
Uh-huh.
Would you need the hormone for basil for doing the cutting and then just put it on the counter to help with the bacteria?
But you're putting it in just in water itself? Okay. I don't think. I think water by itself will make it root.
Okay.
You don't need the rooting hormone on there. There's other rooting hormones. There are sprays, and that's after the fact. So you do all your cuttings, you fill your flat up, and you come in with the spray and spray them on top. Okay, that saves time. Okay, because you can do the cuttings real fast. You just come in and spray them. Okay, so there's many different ways that you could do that. Okay. Okay, again, we're treating it with the rooting hormone, promote quicker root development, more rooting, and a higher percentage of take. Okay? Yes?
Your question was how many leaves should you leave on the plant?
Okay.
No, not 0.
Okay, we know not 0. Okay? So we're going to leave as many leaves as the stem can hold and be able to root without being harmful to the stem. Okay? So for larger plants like this, probably two of them. Okay? Smaller ones, you see, I left 1. Okay? It's going to depend on the type of cutting.
But on your cuttings, it's the very first cut on the branch, the growing end, you're pinching off.
The tip, yes, yes. We're taking that off, okay? Yes, I mean, what I like to do is if I don't know, if I'm going, I'm going to do count notes. It's really tough sometimes, so I'll just kind of say 4 fingers, 4 fingers. So right here, the one that's right here, okay? And then that make it all the way through consistently, okay? So, how many nodes? At least 2 nodes, right? So what happens when I have a plant that has the nodes really close? Is that 2 node rule applies here? So if I'm going to make cutting stuff for this, 2 nodes, wow. Let's see. There's my cutting. Okay, so that only applies with the nodes, with the plant inner nodes. And you guys know that the sections of the part of the stem, right? Of what this is and in between, what is called? Inner node. Okay? So the inner nodes sometimes may be longer. Now this is, like for example, this one right here, the inner node might be more space because it is in the shade, and when the plant is in the shade, what does it want to do? Stretches out. Wants to get the most sun, and it looks very different than one that would be in full sun. Okay? All right. So again, auxins are the primary hormones that aid and help in root development. So if you think of, there's 3 main ones. There's auxins, gibberellins, and cytokinins. Those are the 3 main ones, okay? And when the plant is flowering, it is known that gibberellins are highly active, okay? And gibberellins also too are known to suppress auxins. What does that mean? The translation to that is, if a plant is blooming, it's probably not the right time to take cuttings, okay? But I have a customer who wants 1 million cuttings, and he wants them in a few weeks, and I don't have a choice. What do? I take off the blossoms and the new buds that come out. They're going to set, okay? So this is going to be, there's going to be a test at the end of this one, okay? No, there's no, this is so, there's an example where you say with the liquid one here, where we mix it up, it comes into 10,000 parts per million, and we can make a solution of 500, we can make a solution of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, so forth, okay? And this is the methods of the different brands. There's a lot of them. Just like anything else, there's a lot of different cars, and there's a lot of different hormone manufacturers, okay? So you put it in the flat, okay, and even make the rows, use the screed. Very important if you are doing cuttings is to make sure that your media is moist before and after, okay? Do not put it into a dry media. Why? It will take all the moisture out of the plant, okay? And so you want to make sure you water it before you put the cuttings in it and after you water it again, okay? Polarity, very important. If you do it the wrong way, the plant may still root, but it's going to find it's going to look a little weird, okay? And try to sell $1 million that look weird. You might be, people might like it, but probably not, okay? And so this is what we use and what professionals use. We use bags, but professionals they buy bulk. So they use truckloads, and then to make things soil like that, okay? Okay, so I don't want to exit here. What do I do now to go back? This one is the last one here of leaf cuttings. Anybody know what this plant is? Sansevieria. Okay, and you know the variety? You guys got it? Good. Huh? Yes, and then there's another name for it. Okay, you guys are great. Sansevieria transfasciata laurentii, okay, or laurentii. Why? Because it has this on the edges, the yellowing, okay? So, all right, now, so I take this cutting, okay? I want to take cuttings of this plant. So how do I do it? First, I have to find my scissors, my cutters, right? Then I can do it. So I cut it. Okay. I want to make a clone out of this. Yes. Okay. So I'm happy. I got a cutting. I went to my neighbor's house. He wasn't there. They weren't there, and I cut it. Okay. And I said, now I'm going to have another plant like they have. Yes. So I start making cuttings. Okay. Polarity. Okay. So I start from the top. I know where the top is. Okay. Take the tip off. Okay. I make a cutting about 4 fingers at an angle. Why? So I can tell what's going to go in the soil. Okay? So I place this down, cut it straight, at an angle. Okay? And the dog, yeah, the dog almost got me before I took the cutting. Okay? So now I made all these cuttings, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm just jazzed because I got all these cuttings from my neighbor, and I'm going to have the same plants. Okay? Only more of them. But then when they rooted, there was no yellow anymore. Oh, man. I was disappointed because I wanted this. And instead, I didn't get any outside coloring. I just got green. I lost my mutation here, my chimera. This is called a chimera. It's different. It'll come back to me. I'm too excited. Okay. So what happens is if I want to get what the neighbor has, which is this, I have to go to the roots and cut these subterranean stems, because the information for the mutation for this chimera, it's down in here and just below the bark. It's not in the leaf.
So you'd still get the plant, it just wouldn't have the yellow.
It wouldn't have the yellow. So I made 1,000,000 cuttings, and I thought it was going to be, I'm going to sell all these plants, and then I didn't sell them. Okay. So I would go in here, cut them up, separate them. Essentially, we're doing divisions. Okay. Yeah, our neighbor. Yes. Okay.
They would know you were there.
Yes. Okay. And then the other. Anybody know what this plant is? What kind of vine is it? Okay, this is a lipstick, or Actionanthus radicans. Okay. So how many notes here? So on these, many times, what we do is instead of putting, we used a bigger pot, 8-inch pot, and instead of putting 1 cutting per, so imagine this being larger, okay, we put 25 cuttings in here, inside all over the place, evenly distributed. So what I do is I make my cuttings, okay. So I cut him on this one here. I cut in between. That's okay. Okay, so I want polarity. I want to make sure where my dormant bud is. So I look at my bud. Dormant is always on the high side of the petiole. Okay, so I start putting them in here. So now I have a full plant, okay? And there's not going to be any more transplants, right? I've rooted. Once they've all rooted, they've grown. Look at this. I'm going to do magic. Now they're growing down the side. And imagine that being all over here. This plant is ready to sell. There's no transplanting, okay? This method is called direct stick, okay? So I'm sticking the cutting directly in the pot that it is going to be sold in. Or I may do it in the field, okay? I may go do it out in the field. And if you think of fruit trees, Fruit trees are hardwood cuttings. They harvest those and they go plant them in the field in the spring, okay? And then later on, once they root it and they leaf out, people that do the grafting and budding come out, and they do all the budding on those plants, okay? And if you can think about laying on your stomach the whole day, okay, this is how they do it. They're facing down in their stomach, and they're looking at the stems, and then making the cut and making the buds in there, okay? All right.
That's how when you buy a potted plant, it's so dense.
Correct.
I'm like, oh, they get all those things,
Yes.
but they
So,
weren't there, right?
so you root a whole bunch of them, and always make it bigger. The secret to commercial growers is going behind the scenes, and you see how they make magic, okay? So they'll make a plant that's less full, bring two plants together and put them together. And now it's a full plant. By the time it gets to the market, you wouldn't know that unless you dug in there. Anybody know what this is? Huh? Philodendron? Pothos, yes. Okay. Okay. So here we got, what are these here? Area roots, okay? So now these are ready. All they need is the right environment, okay? And sometimes moisture, that's all it takes, and they can start setting the roots. So now I do the same thing with this. I take a cuttings, and these are called anchor cuttings. Was that Janet? So they're anchor cuttings, so we're going to set them in here because they're going to anchor themselves down. And here is our full plant, full pot. Okay, and we may do more than that. Okay, again, this is direct stick. Don't have to mess with this plant anymore. Once it roots, I put a hanger on it, and the vine starts trailing down, and then people come in and buy it. Okay. So less work if I do. When I do this type of propagation, this method, involves another step. What's that? What's the step after this? Repotting, transplanting these. So if you know a plant does not like its roots to be messed with, disturbed, so you don't want to do it that way. You want to do it direct stick. Okay, so you don't lose the plants. Okay. Oh, in here? I want to say at least another 5 or 6 more to put in here. I'll put one more in the center, so it looks full. By the time I put it out to the showcase, it's going to be sold. Okay. So this is where's my. Okay. So when I propagated this came out. Okay. Now I'm not too happy because I wanted that one. So, but now I know the secret, right? I know how to propagate that one. Okay. So if you think of the snake plants, that's how they. If you want to do now, if it's just trasfasciata, then it'll come true. You don't have to worry about it. But if it's a chimera like this, and there's many other ones, also too the cylindrical ones.
I was going to say, I keep seeing that one sticking out
Yes,
there.
that also will come true. Okay. So this one here. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna. I don't know if we have enough for everybody. I'm gonna leave this here so we can cut it in small pieces and you guys can propagate it. Okay. And then another plant here would be this one here. So now again, I look at the notes. I look at the soft. This is soft wood right here. So if I want to go to the semi-hardwood, that's what I should do. Okay. And when you're doing grafting, which we're going to real quickly now, is semi-hardwood. That's what you want to look for. Okay. And many times when they're doing in the small, they're really small. They'll do almost semi-hardwood, or softwood, almost semi-hardwood, if you will. Okay. All right. Okay. So when we're doing grafting, the plants first of all must be compatible. Okay. So I take an apple and I take an orange tree. Put them together. Yay! Woo-hoo! Woo, no. Okay, they're not compatible. They got to be really close within the family, okay? If it's within the same genus, that's even better. Yes.
And how do they get those? I'm thinking of, what is it called, a grapple or something I've seen in the grocery store where they have like an apple crossed with something else, or they have these weird fruits.
They hybridize those.
So they're cross-pollinated.
Yeah, they hybridize them and develop them, and then once they develop them, they grow them, and they take cuttings off of those,
Okay.
and they graft those onto a stem, okay? The cambium layers must match. Cambium layers don't match, you're not going to do anything, okay? Let's see. You may need to tie it with a rubber band, anything. You could use duct tape, you could use wire, whatever, okay? The key thing is to make sure you come back once it takes, and take that off so it doesn't girdle it, okay? It doesn't kill it. Doesn't restrict the flow of carbohydrates. Okay, so again, we're going to go real quick so we don't have a lot of time. There, I'm wearing the same sweater. I just realized it. There, okay. So for most species, 1 year old wood, okay, or last season's growth, okay, and then we snap it, and then we bend it and snap, it should snap, okay. Okay, there's many grafts, different types of grafts, okay. So one's called cleft graft, as you can see right here, okay. If you guys, and I'm gonna use what Dave used to say, this would only work if you already had a glass of wine or a couple of beers. I also have seed here if you guys want to take some, okay. So English is my second language, so I have to think again, go back and say what I'm thinking to translate it to English. And so when I was taking French, I translated to Spanish and to English. So I was going back like, so I was like, ah! So luckily French is very similar to English, and so it's much easier for me to, okay. So what we do here is we take our knife, we take our very sharp knife, okay. Now how many beers have you had? Can you guys see this? This is a plant. Okay, this is a plant right here, okay. We're cutting it, we topped it, as you see here. It's topped, cut the top. Okay, now it's cut at an angle. This was made, these props were made by a professor at Cal Poly Pomona, Jolly Batchelor. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of him, but he was very eccentric. He grew square zucchinis, square fruit. How did he do that? He made a frame, okay? And he was a great person. Anyways, these are his. He made these as a senior project, okay? All right, so now slice that in the center. Go right there, okay? Somewhere here, I have my knife. Apologize, I thought I had it here. Oh, here it is. So very careful. This is very clean. You can see it's not clean. Okay. So I'm going to move it in a minute so you can see. But I would take this cutting, top it. Okay. Then so now I cut in here, okay? I used my whole knife, okay? I didn't just cut, I just used it and sliced it down, okay? Now I cut here, okay? Once that's ready, then again, how many beers you had? You see this? I took this from another tree, okay? This is not the same tree. Don't let them fool you. Huh? It is a loquat. Yes. Okay. I'm not sure what time it is, but let me know what.
4:45.
I just get carried away with the time. Okay, so let me know when my time is up or close to. Okay, so now what I did here, this is grafting. Remember we did cuttings? This was a no-no, okay? But for this is okay, okay? So now I'm going to prep this to go in there, okay? So I'm going to use my knife, okay? And I'm going to cut this, starting down here and go in this direction, okay? So I'm going to go this way, okay? Like that. Going to go over here, like that, okay? All right. So now, oh wait a minute, I ate something. I need to take it out with my. No, do not touch it with your hands. Do not put it in your mouth. Okay. Laverne Nursery found out one of their sections of graft material was not taken, and they went back to because everyone has to put their label, who made that graft. They went back to that person that was doing it, made observations on that person, and every so often he would put his in his mouth to hold them so they could have a whole bunch of them. And they realized that saliva got in between the cambium layers. It wouldn't let them close. Okay. So now I go in here. I open it up. Can everybody see that from the back? Okay. I slice it in. I put it in here. Then these are broken. So you just go in here and tie them. Now I'm not a professional, but the professionals we take our class to Laverne. That guy does it so quick. He ties it so quick. Okay, so it's going to take me some time, and then plus the plant's scared too. So watch this. So you just tie it, okay, and then you would do it much more than that, of course. I do it this way. Pardon? You could use paraffin taupe, and then that way you don't have to come back and take it out. Okay, because buds will actually grow through that. Okay, if you're doing budding. Okay, so that one there. Okay, so see that, and then I prepped my cyan wood. This is my rootstock. This is my rootstock because it has the roots, and this is my cyan wood. Okay, I went to a different plant, and I got it and placed it here. So I cut this direction, put it in here. Oh, what happened here? All right, so I don't know any better, okay? So I was like, yes, I got it in there. Okay, I'm good, right? I go away, put it away, make my notes, okay? Put it under a dome or put it in a sweat tent, and I go, whoop, disappeared, okay? And then I realize, I come back later, and it's supposed to be 21 days, and I should know something by now, okay? Nothing's happening. It's actually dying. What did I do wrong? Where's the cambium layers? Where's the cambium layer here? On the outside. On the outsides. Below the bark. See this green section, light green section here? It's there, okay? Below the bark, okay?
And it doesn't hurt that the whole back of that is open?
No, it looks big here,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't be as big in a smaller plant, okay? Yes?
Can you put two in at the same?
Yes, so to avoid that, if you have a larger and you're working, and you're top working outside, because sometimes you're working with larger trees, right? So you do that. You come back and say, okay, I'll fix that. I'll put another one in there. Put another one on the other side and fix that problem, okay? So you come back and do another one.
And so then that open spot in the center won't
Be very little. You're going to be using that to hide it, the tape or the rubber band to hide it. You're not going to see that. And any exposed parts, you're going to put a sealant on it, tree sealant, okay?
No worries.
Okay, so it doesn't dry it up, okay? Okay, so that's the most common one. There's our side graft, okay, we could do. Side graft are basically the same way, if you think about it. Now this is a rootstock, okay, this is my pot, okay. I go on the side, where's my other knife? I'm cutting it with the wrong one. Go on the side and make an indentation towards the middle and then come out a little bit like that. Leave a flap, okay. Then I will prep my scion wood the same way. Okay, so I went in here one, it's wedge, okay. Then I go in here, match it. Tie it up. Okay. The good thing about this is the part, now you don't see it here, but the top part is there. Okay. So let's say I'm going to do it on this branch here. So I'm going to go in here and see the part, the top, I didn't cut that like it did this. Okay. And they found that when they did that, they'll graft it, they'll put it in. Okay. Let me see if I have enough here. On the other one, let me cut another piece. And I put it in there. Then I tie it up, put pressure on it, tie it up. Okay, make sure my camion layers are matching. Then in a few days or a couple days, they come back and they know when to do this. Okay, and it's I think it said it is about a week or so. They take the top and snap it and leave it attached. Okay, so what do you think happened there? So now the plant recognizes there's an injury. And what does the plant want to do first of all? Okay, it wants to heal that injury on there, right? So it starts to go, oh, wait, there's another injury here. Let's fix this first. Everybody come back, and let's fix this guy. So they fix this guy, get him connected, get him all healed up, and then they start focusing on the top afterwards. And by that time, this guy's already taken, and then eventually this can come off. Okay? Oh, is that the time? Are we good? Oh, good? Okay. Okay, the another one is side graft, very similar. The only thing is there's no flap. Okay? So it would be something like So if you can imagine, now these are different, I lost the other one. So it would only be, my scion wood will only be cut on one side, and then I slide it in here, put it together. Okay? So if I was doing a side veneer here, I would do the same. Kind of like that, okay? I can go a little bit higher. Okay. Then I would put that in there. Now there's a little indentation in here, so it keeps it inside, it doesn't fall out. Okay? And if you're doing outside with larger diameter trees, okay, then you would do that style, okay? Then you go around and make multiple ones. Now, this one's doing all the way across. This one is cutting just the bark and below, okay? And then we're leaving the cambium layer still attached there. So we're inserting widgets, if you will, on the edge all the way around, okay? Splice graft, very easy way to make that cutting, okay? So if I'm doing a splice graft, okay, so imagine I'm doing a splice. Now this is requires another 5 beers, okay? Or 2 glasses of milk. Okay, so now, can you see? This continues down here. Can you guys see that? And this is my upper part. Can you see that? Everybody sees that. Great. Okay. Now I took that, and now I would probably do it a more of an angle. Then it's perfect cut because I did it with one cut. Perfect fit. Put them together. Okay. All right. And there's other grafts. Again, there's many types. Okay, just a few to show you here. There's one called a cutting graft. where you're actually trying to root the rootstock while the scionwood is trying to unite with the rootstock. And there's no roots on the rootstock. Okay? There's a sandwich graft. This is where you sit down for lunch. You bring out your sandwich. No, this is where it has one in between. Okay? So it has the scionwood. Okay? It has the rootstock and one in between. Okay? So it has 3 different plants in one. Think of a tree rose. Whenever you see a tree rose, it's 3 different plants in one. Okay? Okay, techniques of budding is you get on the phone, you call your bud and say, let's get together, right? That's techniques, okay? Very similar. Budding, it's much more, or I should say they do more and it's quicker. So now when we did grafting, we use stems with multiple buds on it, okay? When they're doing budding, they're just using a single stem or single bud, like that. Okay, so because when they buy their scionwood, they buy it according to how many buds they had, or price-wise. They go, okay, I'll sell you some. This how many buds they had, $1.50 per bud. Okay, and you're doing 100,000 of them. Okay, that adds up right away. Okay, so now they do this here. Okay. So again, they do it when the plants are small. Okay, and fruit trees. If you think of fruit trees, that's the best way to do it too as well. Okay, so those guys that can actually do the budding, they can do this numbers per day. Look at that, 2,000 to 3,000 per day. Imagine being on your stomach all day, doing that. You can't fall asleep. Okay, there was we went on a trip to Oregon a couple years back, or a couple years back. Dave set it up, and we went to a place, a fruit tree orchard or grower that actually had done taking the cuttings, put them in the field, and now they've grown, and now the budders were out there doing their work, and we actually got to see them in action. That was pretty neat, So if you think of a bicycle wheel, there's like 4 bicycle wheels, and it's like a bed, okay? And you're laying down on your stomach, and you're propelling yourself forward as you're doing things. And you got to be careful not to knock out your butt that you just did, the work. And some of those folks make good money. The more they make buds they do, the more money they make. And some of those folks, they may work 4 months out of the year and take the rest of the year off. Because the time to do budding, they're working 20 hours, maybe more than that. Okay, they're doing it. There was one guy that was so fast, he had to have 2 people behind him tying. Okay, he was the fastest guy. He was getting the most money. Okay, so easy to obtain cambium contact, used where large number of plants are required. Roses, fruit trees, shade trees, avocados, usually confined to a young plant. So, okay, stock is about 1 year old. Plant to last summer. Easy to teach than grafting. Okay, so it's only 1 bud. There's not a whole lot of thing there too. Very important though when you're doing budding is to make sure that that the bark is slipping, meaning the sap flow is in there in the plant. There's no sap flow. The cambium layer is going to come up with the bark when you cut it, when you peel it out. Okay, so you want to make sure you cut the bark and you try to get the bark to separate from the cambium. Okay, what did I mean? So I cut. This is my rootstock. Guys, see this? It's roots down here. Okay, I cut down here. This is a T-cut. Then I peel back. When I peel back, I should see light green behind it or green. Okay, if I don't see that, if I see the pit, the center, okay, the xylem, then I peeled it with it, and it's not going to match because this guy has it here. And if I peel it back, it's going to go against, there's no cambium there. So, okay? All right. So if you're doing it, some areas, June, July, August, the folks that do it inside in the greenhouse, they can start earlier. They may start early spring and then do it all through spring. Outside, you can do it this month, okay? So the dormant bud should not be greatly different. So this should be bigger or about the same size, but it should not be smaller than the bud, okay? Because it's going to be hard to get it in there, okay? So if you collect it the same day, okay, fresh on evergreens. Deciduous, you store them up as soon as you think it's ready to bud. The buds are actually swelling up, then you go ahead and do the budding. Okay, and the petiole is used to many different things, which is, I lost my bud. Oh, here, hey, my bud, hey, buddy. So I'm going to leave the leaf on there, but the petiole is this section from here to the stem. And so many times they'll cut that here, they'll take that off, and then this is basically to hold it. Because now that I cut this, I don't want to touch this with my hands. I don't want to place it down anywhere. By the time I do this, it's because I'm already ready and I have it prepped. I have the cut prepped and ready to go inside. I don't want to do it before that, okay? So you'll see them with the stems next to them, the table. And as they're prepping in, they're going in here, cutting one, putting it in, cutting one, putting it in, okay? Tying it up, tying it up.
So are you notching the cambium
Yes,
for that? So you
correct.
heat that first and then you notch the cambium?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, then the test. Okay, this is where you know you were successful, okay? So you do your budding, okay? Anywhere from 3 to 21 days, you're gonna know if you're successful, okay? So if you go there and the petiole's still green, still attached, and you touch it and it falls off, woo, you're good. If it turns brown, stays on there, you touch it, it doesn't go off, then you probably you're not successful, okay? So tea budding is the main way they do it, okay? They brew some teas and they do the budding, right? You know, so they do a tea cut, okay? Slice down, open it up. I just had my bud here and I lost it. Here it is. Then I prep my bud. Now, notice here, this is the petiole on the side, and this is the dormant bud, okay? There's always going to be a dormant bud, okay? When this starts to grow, there's one that replaces him, or it, okay? And that guy goes out, there's another one right behind it. There's always one there. It's always one there, okay? So I'm grabbing it from the petiole, not touching it here. I made my cut, then I insert it, okay? Then I go in here and tie it. Now this is where the parafilm would be great. I could do parafilm even over the bud, okay? And they discovered that it actually can grow through the parafilm, okay? You guys want to know what parafilm is? It's a material that is the main ingredient is beeswax, okay? And it's clear plastic, if you will, okay? And so the buds were actually pushed through there, where if you put tape over this, they wouldn't push it. Well, you have to go back and cut that out, okay? So again, you're going to see that something like this, and then, oops, let me go over here. Okay, an inverted tea bud, okay? So now I found that I did my budding before and I was not successful. Then I did research and I said, you know what? You did a plant that has heavy sap flow, okay? So what do you need to do? Oh, the sap had something to do with that. It didn't allow the cambium layers to come together. So I need to do something different, okay? So why not invert it? Now I didn't invert the plant, I inverted the cut, okay? The plant is growing this way now, the roots are down this way, okay? So now I made the cut here, insert it in here, see how am I doing upright, okay? And leaving this not too tight, a little bit open for the sap to flow out of there. Okay, so if you ever do something like that and the plant is not successful, And it's probably due because it has a lot of sap flow in there, and it prevents the cambium layers from coming together. Okay. And then there's one called a patch budding. So this is if you had a thick bark tree, like a pecan or something like that, where you take a piece of bark with the bud on it, and you cut it and you put it just like it is onto on the rootstock, and then tie it. Okay. Another one is chip budding. This is when the bark's not slipping. Okay. So I'm not able to separate the outer bark from the cambium. So I can do very similar like I did my my side veneer, okay, and then I prepare my bud the same thing, same way. I put it in there, tie it up, and then voila, success, okay. So when you anybody know what this plant is? Off the top of your head. Huh? Boxwood? No, no. It's a tricky plant. You see it a lot everywhere. Huh? Raphiolepis. Raphiolepis indica. Okay? Yes. So that's Raphiolepis indica. The rootstock of this is this guy. What? Yes. What happened? This is crazy. Yes, it can happen. They're in the same family. Okay? This is a loquat, just like that big one there. So this is the rootstock of loquat. Okay, so sometimes they may use, let's say for instance, have you seen a plant that's high, like a Raphiolepis? It looks like a poodle on the top and things like that. They could have done it this way. Okay? Where they grafted it, they grew the stem really tall, this high, then put the Raphiolepis on top, because the Raphiolepis is a shrub. Okay? It's not a tree. Now you can train it. You can train it to grow like a tree, small tree, but it's not a large tree. Okay? So you take that guy, put them together, and look, we were successful. We even have blossoms on them. Okay? I missed these to show you for cuttings. So this is before, this is after. Okay, look at this. Anybody know what this plant is? Yes, Dracaena. Okay, now this one is a Warnicki, okay, or striped Dracaena. But when you're making cuttings, you just make stem cuttings like this. You don't have to leave any leaves on it. Pushing new buds on it. The new ones are coming out. All right. Anybody know what these plants are? What this plant is? An avocado. Yes. How did it grow? It grew from a seed. Okay. This is what it does. You plant it and it splits in the center. Okay. Then all of a sudden it starts to come out. And some of these sometimes have multiple embryos. So it may have more than one embryo. Okay. And that's okay. They're known for that. Okay. These other plants are other cuttings that were not part of that, but now we have additional cuttings that we can make. Okay. All right. So
Can you do that with all avocados, or you gotta
yes, you can from all the seeds you can do this. Now, here's my question to you. So I grow this plant. I've germinated now. Woo, yeah. I feel good, right? Now this is taking about 4 months or so, 5 months. Okay, it grew. I'm so excited. I go and plant it in my yard. And then 10 years later, I'm waiting. It's like, and my wife's like, "Hey, that tree is not giving any fruit. Why is it still here?" And I grew up in Mexico when I was young, and then if plants didn't give you fruit, they were no good. They were firewood. Okay, and so my wife didn't tell me that, but I'm just saying that. So now, if I planted from a seed, I did the seed, and I was successful. I'm so happy. I personally did one from seed in my house, okay? And I planted it. And guess what? I haven't have any fruit, but this year, guess what happened? There's flowers on it. I'm excited. I'm going to see what happens, and I'll tell you next time, okay? The rule on that is, if you do an avocado from a seed, there's no guarantees you'll get the same taste, fruit, or if you're going to get fruit at all. Okay? All right? Pardon?
Why is that?
It's just the nature of the plant. So, and I don't know a whole bunch on avocados, but I know that there's an A and B flower, you know, those kinds of things. And then, so in order for us to get Hass avocado, the seed was a Hass avocado, I need to graft the Hass scion wood from the tree that you got the fruit from on this top one. And then I'll get the fruit. Then I'll get it sooner. I don't have to wait 7 to 10 years. I can get it within 2 or 3 years or less. Okay? So, but it goes to show you can do it. You can do the avocados. Laverne Nursery, when we go to their grounds there, they show us how they put the avocados. And then once they graft them, now they don't put these under a sweat tent. Okay? Because most of the grafts will need to go under a sweat tent. You guys know what a sweat tent is? Okay, so think of a sauna. Okay? And think of a sauna. When you go in there, it's pretty warm, right? And so this is what a sweat tent would be in. If you go under that, you're going to be, oh, it's too hot in here. But they need that. They need that humidity in order for them to come together and close up and heal. Yes. And they need moisture. Because if you let them dry out, then you're not going to be successful. Okay?
I've heard you do kind of something similar with pineapples, just cut off
Yes.
the top and plant 'em.
Now, the drawback about that is, what are pineapples? Where are they from? Part of the world. Hawaii. What are they? What's the weather like in Hawaii?
Lots of rain.
Tropical. So which we don't have here, right? Unless you're near the ocean, right? Then you can do that. I've done that. I did it at home. Every little thing I'm learning. I'm always learning. You know, I've been in this industry for 26 years, and I still don't. I'm still learning. You know, I just know a little bit. You know, and so. Anyways, I tried it at home, and I still haven't gotten to root because in the summer it's too hot. Okay, and now it's too cold. So, yes. You have two? Where you live? Right here? Where are they? Are they protected? Yeah. Wow. And they're in the ground or in the pot? Wow.
I was just gonna say the same thing, I have two, but mine are, I rooted mine in a window,
Yeah.
it's like bowl of warm water,
Uh-huh.
changing, and I got a little mini pineapple plant going,
Ooh.
but then I had to move them to the greenhouse, because now that they're rooted,
Yes.
my husband said I was not allowed to put 5-gallon pots.
Oh man, you're in the wrong house.
But if you have a greenhouse, or you have like a really good sunny spot,
Yes.
you can protect, maybe like shade during the winter or the summer, because that is like 115 or
Yes.
108 is way too much.
Yeah.
And you can't keep it wet in these conditions, because it'll be dry.
Oh wow. Yeah, the other research when I was reading about it, it was said that you're better off leaving them in a pot. That you maybe get more fruit off of them in a pot in our area than in the ground.
Because you can keep it wet. You can't keep the ground wet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pot,
So.
how much water stays in the pot.
Yeah.
So
See-
they need a lot of water.
Pardon?
They need a lot
And
of water.
yeah, just make sure you're not sitting in water. Yeah. Yeah. See, my household is the opposite. I can't have stuff inside the house. So I know. So my boss is my wife. So you know, and she says I'm just yes. So happy wife is happy life, right? Is that what they say? Okay. So let me see what else we had here. Okay. Ever hear anything else? So again, if you were going to do direct sticking, you would do directly into the pot that you're going to sell it in, okay? So like for this one here, and then you would label this. And we did these in 2 sections. One of them was under the mist, and one of them, one test we did in the greenhouse without mist. Both of them took, but the ones that were under the mist were faster rooting. We found, okay, the moisture, the humidity, okay, the warmth. Now you don't have a mist system at your place, okay. So what do? There's many things you could do. Yeah, or you can make a frame over a 5-gallon pot and put plastic over that, and that creates humidity, make cutting. You know, the milk bottle, the can, jugs. You can cut that. I did that at my house. I cut it and then I slice it. I put it over the cuttings, and they're doing great. Okay, so those little things, you know. But if you have a greenhouse, then you're great. You just set up in a little section there. So at the end, I look like this when I have all my cuttings, okay? And so now my other job here is to start going through and start separating these. That one didn't make it. So now, I don't know if you can't see it, but no, this is a Caliandra. Caliandra, okay. So I pull on it, it won't come out. That's rooted. Okay, that one's, okay, it's rooted. Yeah. Now, was rooted, now it took all the roots. Now this plant doesn't really matter. It doesn't care, you know. But there's other plants that if you did that, as soon as you did that, they'll do okay for a couple of days, and all of a sudden they go, okay. So now here I take this guy, and I may do 1 or 2. Okay, let's say for instance I do this guy here. I put him in here. Okay. So now they were under the mist in the greenhouse. Okay. It's a controlled environment. Humidity is high. Okay. And so now they don't want to be in that anymore. They've already rooted. If I leave them there too long, it's the opposite starts to go. So all the leaves will start dropping and the stems will start dying out. Okay? So pay attention when your cuttings are ready, if you're under a mist, to take them off the mist. Okay? If the majority of the flat, it's already rooted, take it off the mist. Shut off that side if you need to. Okay? So I can do 1. Okay? But again, fullness. We're looking at fullness. Is this going to be full enough? I made so many cuttings. What I can do is I can make this really full. And I just take 3 cuttings together, okay? Put them together. Now normally I wouldn't have any soil in here, okay? So the rule when you're transplanting is you can put a little bit of soil on the bottom, but not in the top. Don't fill it up all the way, okay? So I do have it here, so I'm just going to work it where. It's moist, very moist. Okay, okay. And so now it looks fuller, right? As it grows, it's going to be looking even fuller. Now I can go to the store and she'll give me $5, $20, whatever. You know? I can take these to the market and say, yes, you'll pay for that. But people that understand plants, they say, you know what? It's on sale for $1. It doesn't look that great. I know how to fix it. I know how to take care of it. I'll bring that plant up. Okay, you plant it in the ground. Who doesn't have a green thumb here? No. Who doesn't have a green thumb? No one, no one. We all have green thumbs. Okay? Because some people, I've heard people say, I have a black thumb. Okay? And the idea is, how much effort are you putting into it?
Exactly.
Your black thumb is coming from your effort. It's not from, if you care for the plants enough, you talk to them, you say you're beautiful, they'll respond and say, thank you, I like you. They're going to give you flowers. And if them don't care for them, they're going to do the same thing for you. They're not going to care. Okay? All right. So all of us can grow plants. It just depends, are we willing to do it? Are you willing to do the time? Now, it's been proven, research has been proven that gardening is therapeutic. Whenever you have a headache, you came home from a meeting and your head is just like this big, go out and do some gardening and you'll forget about it. Okay? I do that all the time. At home, I am my own gardener. I almost got fired. Okay? It's amazing. My daughter asked my wife, she said, Mom, why is the neighbor's yard look better than ours? It look nicer. And how come we don't get that gardener over here? And then she said, you know who our gardener is here, who takes care of our plants here and mows the lawn and all that. No, I don't. He says, and she said, but he doesn't do a good job, you know. That guy that's doing that, so we need to get another one. And then she said, well, it's your dad. So do you want to fire him? And she said, no. So I still got a job at my house. Okay, so I still garden. So, but anyways, another example, I was gardening outside, and my wife was with a big headache, and she came on and said, I have a huge headache. I don't know what to do. We started talking, and I said, well, why don't you help me do this, do that, hey, let's do that. And at the end, she forgot she had the headache. It went away. Okay, I involved myself in gardening the whole day. I am the only gardener that wears a full thing. Okay, I have earmuffs when I mow the lawn. Okay, I have visor. Okay, I wear everything because I'm a safety person, a safety freak, if you will. Okay, because there's always flying objects. Lawn's known to throw rocks, goes in somebody's eye. That's why you don't want to have your kids nearby when you're mowing the lawn. Okay, or the weed eater. Okay, so all those things. Yes. All right. Are we good to the break or? Well, I just expedited or made it fast, but we can go back and touch on some things. But I think I went over pretty much all this stuff here. So is there any other questions? Yes.
When you were taking your cuttings and you cut the top just above the bud, the node, and then below the node, how do you just avoid the bottom of the node on the bottom, or do you leave like a quarter-inch, eighth-inch?
Okay, so
Something underneath that bottom.
yeah. So if I was pruning the plant, that would matter. I would take that in consideration. I'm making a cutting. The cutting is not going to matter. He doesn't care. It doesn't care. So, but if I'm pruning a plant outside, yes, it would matter. Okay. So look right here. So I go above, below,
Okay, so yeah.
below. Okay. Then I strip the lower leaves.
Right.
Okay. Then again,
I just wanted to know how low past that bottom node.
just right below the node. Now, just know that I don't know if you ever be a professional cutter, cutter, a sticker, but I've seen these folks. They're fast. They're quick. They can carry on a full conversation and work. Okay, so I can see them, and then where's my vine? This is how they're sticking. Sometimes when they're doing like ivy. Where's my cutter? Who took my cutter? Well, let me close this up before I cut myself. Oh man. See, you can't take me anywhere. What a mess I make. Okay, so this is when they do vines, they do a vine. Okay? It's not high enough here. You guys will be able to take one of these today. Okay. So here's how fast they do it. Okay. This is how they do it. They actually use the clippers to push down. I'm doing it slow. I'm very slow, but they're like boom, 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 because they're getting paid by how many plants they do and things like that. So this soil is pretty tight now because but this is how they would do it. They just go like that. So boom, 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 boom. And then they do, you see that and you go, whew. But that's their job. That's what they do. Okay. The graft folks that do the grafting the same way. They do it so quickly that wow, you know, it's like anything. You do a trade, you do it so quickly. You get it somebody new, and they don't think they're ever going to do that. You know, and so but once with practice, they'll eventually get to that point. Yes.
Let's say that you have a graft that doesn't take. What do you do with the open sore on the tree?
So you can cut that below, or it'll heal back. You can.
You just don't worry about it. It's not gonna.
No. So here is. Let me see if this one. Now, I don't know if you noticed something about this. Have you noticed something here? It still has a tape, and this is probably like 5 years old. Okay. So I needed to remove this tape a long time ago. Well, one thing is what I was telling you about plants. What do you do for them? What's good for them? If you care for them. Now this plant's been neglected. Okay, so it's staying alive just to show me, but it's saying I'm neglected. I need food. Give me some food. Okay, so that needed to come off. But anyways, if something's not, it doesn't make it. It'll heal back up. So there was a cut there.
Okay.
Okay, it'll heal back up on its own. Okay, so another one I skipped it over. I'm not sure why I skipped it over, but it's called bridge grafting. Okay, so this is basically, if you can think about the way it'd probably be easiest to understand is that when a person is burned, has 3rd-degree burns, and they get skin grafts, basically the same thing when you do a stem. Okay, so this stem here. My knife. So let's say, for example, here, this one here, okay, it was damaged. So I can do bridge grafting, okay, do strips of this here, implant them here, okay, strips. I can probably take another branch, cut it off. So if you think about it, it's not long enough, but it would be taking the bark with the cambium layer, okay, and putting it in here, and insert it in the top and here and all the way to the bottom, connecting them all the way around and tying it together. And it would bridge the gap, if you will. That's why it's called bridge grafting. Okay. There's another type of graft that's called inarching. Okay. Inarching. Okay, so this is, what do I put here? No? No. It doesn't listen to me. There's a joke in Spanish. This gentleman comes in from Mexico, and he puts money in the soda machine, right? In Spanish, the word tell me is dime, dime. So he puts the money in the machine, and he doesn't put enough money, and he's saying, Coke, Coke, Coke. No money. Didn't get a Coke, okay? So, anyways. So grafting here, it shows the there's a clicker. How to work it? I don't know. Okay. Anyways. So this is, when they're doing it, see how large the stem is on that one? The rootstock, and then the top. This is an avocado here. And so this is what you want to see, this progress. You want the callus over. You have the parenchyma cells that healed up, okay? The process. So if you think about when we get cut, what happens to us? We scab, and that's that scab. This is for the plants. And this is natural. You want that, okay? Okay, many reasons for grafting. There's many reasons to obtain the benefits of certain rootstocks. So now I have a tree. I have to climb a ladder to get the fruit. An example. I don't want to climb a ladder anymore. I'm older. Okay, so I want to be able to stand on the ground and pull the fruit, pick the fruit. So I can make that tree dwarf. I can make it shorter, where I don't have to climb on a ladder. Okay. And here's here's the tree rows right here. Okay. But again, they do it for many things. Disease resistant. If you think about right now, we had that, or not right now, but recently we had sod for the sudden oak death. Okay. So the researchers doing all kinds of research to develop new plants that actually are resistant to that, okay, to diseases like that, okay. When you're doing grafting, you have two types of rootstocks, meaning the bottom base. Which one do you want? Okay, so which one's available? Okay, so one of them could be a seedling. I have my seedling. I did my rootstock. Now I have my avocado. I can graft onto that. Okay. The other one is a clono, which is what? Vegetative parts, right? Vegetatives. Okay. And I know it's a replica of the mother plant because I took a clone of it. I took a piece of that. Okay. Obtaining the benefits of inner stalks. Again, we talked about having one on the top, the rootstock, in the middle, which is called inner stalk. Let's say, for instance, I think a reason here is the walnuts are not compatible one with the other. So we find one that's compatible with both and bridge the gap there. Okay? Changing cultivars and established trees. Okay, that's done all the time. So an orchard is not producing anymore, and there's a new variety that came out. So what does that grower do? It tops it, goes through and takes the top off of those growths, okay, and then goes in and tops work it with the new variety, okay. Having several varieties on one tree, okay. Hey, why not? You have, like for the Valencia orange in the Washington, you have twice a year, you have fruit on it, okay. And so, how about, do you guys know that? I didn't know this back a few years back that you can graft tomatoes. Yes. Now this is a new one. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's not too new, but it's somewhere. How about a potato and a tomato? You're just as excited as I am. What do we call that? What do we call that? Okay. It depends on the company, but how about ketchup and fries?
Oh, yeah.
I want to do that.
Do it. You know, you have all the tools. I gave you all the tools right now.
So you take
So you first of all, you want to grow a potato. Where's the seed? Where do you get the potato seed? Huh? Where's the? The whole thing is the seed.
yeah.
So cut it in sections. Cut it in sections.
The eyes.
Cut it in sections and put it in the ground. Put it in pots. Once it starts to come out, go buy a tomato plant or germinate your own plant, okay? And then graft it onto that. Okay? Now it's not an easy task because we're dealing with very small stem.
But the potato, they're like lines, and the tomato is.
Yeah, you got to do it when they're really small. Don't let it get too big. Okay? But there's where you can do the side veneer, okay, or the side graft on it. Okay, so, all right. Yes. You buy those clips on the internet. You get the clips. Yeah, it's really hard to tape them because they're so small. You really need a microscope or something to amplify your view. Yeah, so you just gotta take the clips, put them on there, but you still have to do a magnifying glass and to go and look at that. So, you can do it. You know. All the stuff that I've shown you here, you can do it, okay? So even something that takes a long time to bloom or bear fruit, if you grow the seedling, then graft it, okay? Then I would graft onto that. So let's take, for example, the example that I show here is a camellia. A camellia takes anywhere from 5 to 7 years to bloom, okay? So what they discovered is when they did grafting, they tricked it. And they thought it was mature. They said, hey, I'm mature now, I'm blooming. Here it is. Here you guys show. Look. Okay? So that's how they do it. Okay? develop special forms, okay? Have you ever seen a tree that's going like this, kind of like go everywhere? Yeah, those are like that, grafted, okay? Tree roses, weeping cherries, Raphaeolipsis, the tree, okay? Repair damaged trees, and this is where I was talking about the bridge grafting, okay? In arching, okay? This is where you go to the Olympics, right? And then you get, no, that's the wrong one, right? Okay. So this is basically, if you think about it, I don't have a drawing here, and I don't have a, is it, can I draw in here? Oh, no, Chuck. Let me see if there's some here. Oh, they're right in front of my face. They would have been a snake, I would have been gone. Everybody see that? So I have this huge tree, okay? But this poor guy, he's not doing well, okay? But I love this tree. I don't want to cut him down, okay? So let's say, for instance, it's an orange tree, okay? So what I do, this is the soil level here. I come in with smaller plants, smaller rootstocks, and I plant them closer to it, okay? Okay, when I have some elasticity in the stem, I'm able to bend it, then I go this direction. And I graft it onto the main stem. Okay? Then now these guys are new. Okay, they have a lot of more roots. I'm using proper English, a lot of more roots, see? Yeah, so now these guys will regenerate this tree or invigorate the tree to make it look better. Okay. Yes, so it would be like a citrus. You know, if you're doing citrus, you would do like either trifoliate or flying dragon down here. Okay, and so now I did in arching here. Okay, so. So yeah, so I have one that looks weird. It looks like, hey, what's that guy doing? But that's basically what it's doing is we're giving, if you will, a new set of roots to this tree. Okay? All right? Yes, the center's still there intact, but they found when they did that, they put new plants here, 2 1-year-old plants here, and they arched it in here, they grafted them into here. The tree look a lot better the next season. Okay? Yes.
And they leave them there forever?
They're going to be there forever. Okay?
So that's only if the roots of the original tree are not doing well. Have you noticed?
If the tree in general is not doing well. Okay?
Oh, really?
It might be the roots, it might be something vascular wrong in here. Okay, now what's going on with right now with kind of the insect? Citrus psyllid is one of them, but where's one that's really devastating the boar? The shot-hole boar. Or the Hulong Bing, right? Okay? That guy there, you guys know what the damage is doing to the trees? Okay, so it's doing is, it's actually augering holes here, galleries in the tree, in the stem, and then depositing 2 types of fungi in there to farm for its babies. Okay, so they can have food. Okay, and then what happens there, it seals up the flow of nutrients and water, carbohydrates in there. And the tree is letting you know something's wrong. How does the tree let you know something's wrong with you, with him? Brown. So it starts at the tips first, and it starts to show you some dead wood. Dead. So that's an indication that you need to go and look at that tree. See, hey, what's wrong with you? You're telling me there's something wrong with you. Okay, so you're going to see that a lot. I live by Glendora, by 210 and 57, and there's a plant of oaks right there, and all those oaks are showing that symptom. Okay, so all those have that. If you drive up the 5 closer, going up to the before the Grapevine, what's that little place there? Hungry Valley, that area. There's some beautiful oaks there. They're probably 200 or 300 or longer. They're all dead. They're gone. And there's going to be a whole lot of trees dead here in the next few years. Okay. And this is because of the borer. Okay. It's a combination of many things. They say that, you know, there's a, yeah, the school of thought is that they think that the drought has something to do with it, that the tree will actually releases some pheromones and the insects picks up on it. But there's other people say, no, that's not true. That the insect will do it anyway if the tree's not under stress. So it just, yes.
I have an orange tree, it's probably 25 years old,
Uh-huh.
and the tree looks fine, but where the top it had like just one branch that like all of it turned brown and
Mhm.
brittle. The rest of the tree's fine, how pretty it's flowering
Yes.
now. But I've noticed that on the trees on Victoria, the orange trees on Victoria too, what would cause that?
Now there's the citrus. You know, you got the Asian citrus psyllid is one of them, but it goes back to many diseases. There's another disease called tristacia, which can be very similar, and then there's another one called. Well, right now there's about 3 or 4 going on them. Okay,
That would do that.
that would do that. But you would just go in there and take that off, and then make sure you sanitize your tools. Okay, so you use bleach, whatever, anything. The other product you could use is Lysol. Sanitize your tool before and after. Okay, so you don't take that tool and go cut another tree, and then if you had something there, you're spreading it. Okay, so. Again, this is some history we throw at the students here, but it's been done for so many years, forever. Okay, and is written in the Bible as well. This at the very bottom, this gentleman wrote a book about and described grafting methods and techniques, and not many things have changed. It's still the same. Okay. Again, we want to make sure that the cadmium layers match. If they don't match, we're not going to have success. The types of plants also will indicate whether you're successful, whether they can be grafted or not. Or maybe in the time of the year is important when you're doing it. Okay, so if you're doing it in the fall, you're going to have less success than you do it in the spring or summer. Okay. And then limits of the grafting. Okay, so again, you got to be really close scientifically, genetically. Okay, if you're not, if you can't do apples and citrus, and they won't do. Okay. All right, I think that's it. So, thank you.